Ooh. Hi, it's me, Hebo, and it's surprise Vana'versary Christmas today. Everyone gets a Mog Bonanza Weapon. I take it all back, the Moogle Iris makes sense. In fact, we were joking about this in Discord last week at some point when the Iris was announced, and we got proof, we got the screenshots. I literally said, in parentheses, this is a joke. Surprise, 23rd Vana'versary, everyone gets a Bonanza Weapon. And we rolled our eyes and laughed at that. But apparently we're just jaded and sad. And the reality is, it's Vana'versary. So get your Mog Bonanza Weapon. This isn't going to be a comprehensive video by any means, but just a quick showcase of some of the linkshell testing and maybe some insight into various weapon options for your very own personal lottery prize. If you didn't know, Square Enix surprised us this morning on day one of the Vana'versary celebration with granting everyone a Mog coupon WMOGB, which grants you your choice of Mog Bonanza Weapon. And that means everyone, people who are sub to the game right now, people who are logging in for a free login campaign, and even people in our linkshell who quickly created a mule to see if they could get a weapon on a brand new character. Everybody gets a Mog Bonanza Weapon of their choice. This is a crazy surprise. Our linkshell has been extremely lively this morning as everybody makes picks and debates which weapon to grab, but here are some quick tests of what weapons we immediately had access to help you maybe decide which weapon you'd like to do. There are 22 different weapons to choose from, each with different unique effects. Some are better than others, but there are some really interesting things to explore. Personally, I picked the Diamond Aspis for the 25% increase to job ability duration for my Warrior and Paladin. This doesn't apply to special abilities like Mighty Strikes or Invincible, and it only applies the extension to the caster. So the longer job abilities only have an increased duration on the person with the Aspis. So something like Warcry will only apply the extended duration to the warrior who casts it, but it applies to basically every other job ability outside of SPs. Berserk can hit a 100% uptime with it. You have an extra 15 seconds of Warcry, which is absolutely busted on Warrior. The 700 TP, the attack bonus, etc. for an additional window is fantastic. You even get an extra tick of Meditate with a Samurai sub job. I think there's a lot of great uses, and I'm excited to figure out how to best use it. The white mage in our party went with the Pandit staff, which has some fast cast, cure potency, etc., but more importantly is the 20-hour recast re-raise 5. This allows a downed white mage to get back up with no weakness and at full HP. That's pretty crazy. The downside here is that it is a 20-hour recast and only lasts for 1 hour like most re-raise does, so you're basically using it when you know you're absolutely gonna die, which for me is great because, you know, that could just be an Odyssey segment farm or maybe some job points or something like that, because our white mage tends to die a lot. But a fun thing to play with nonetheless. And if you're just, you know, starting out a white mage or you're coming back to the game, this could be a really fantastic introductory weapon to endgame curing with the fast cast, with the cure potency 2, etc. It's a great introductory weapon. Sure, it's going to be replaced by other things down the line, but it's a good thing to start with. Our red mage picked up the Onion Sword 3 for Fastblade 2, and it's okay. With full buffs, we tested a few weapon skills, and while this is by no means conclusive, Fastblade 2 damage was ranging from 30,000 damage to 65,000 damage at best. By comparison, with the same buffs, Imperator hit for 75k and Nagling Savage hit for 85k. This could be a cool option for maybe Dancer slashing, as Dancer doesn't have access to Nagling or any other powerful swords. But with the all jobs on the Onion Sword 3, Fastblade 2 is a decent weapon if you're desperate to find something, maybe in an Odyssey segment run where you need to do slashing instead of piercing. Could be a good option there, but not necessarily the game changer we were hoping it to be. We also got to test Hebo's spear with our dear friend Skode, a career Dragoon who didn't care if it was novelty only, he just wanted the Dragoon thing. This is by no means going to replace any of your high damage spears. In our testing, each auto attack got an extra 255 or so water damage damage. So it's not a game changer. It does look relatively unique with the large loop at the end, and maybe it could be useful for the end spell type effect, like if you're trying to suppress Dahaks or something like that, doing the guaranteed water damage could be really interesting. Thanks, Scode, for taking one for the team. We also got to take a look at everybody's favorite pick, Yagyu Darkblade, which has some really cool implications, making all of your Utsusemi spells apply a lower count of shadows to the entire party. This is pretty neat, and apparently the AoE buff generates a ton of hate, giving Ninja a viable option to maintain enmity, which is kind of cool. And on initial testing, apparently the AoE shadow effect does apply when Yagyu Darkblade is equipped in the offhand. So you could still equip your Prime Katana or your Aeonic and get the AoE shadow effect with an offhand katana. Of course, you'll be sacrificing whatever you normally use in offhand, but again, this has some really cool enmity implications and perhaps some utility with being able to give the entire party several shadows, which is kind of neat. Miracle Cheer is another common pick that we got to take a look at today, with 15-minute song duration and song effects +3. So the 15-minute song duration is static. No song duration gear actually affects this at all. It'll always be 15 minutes if you sing with Miracle Cheer equipped. If you're a Rima Bard, I think I would personally prefer to have Carmen Han's 12-minute songs with a +4 song modifier from Yallarhorn, and keeping in mind that you can't use Miracle Cheer to cast Honor March or Aria or any of the unique songs that have to be sung with specific instruments. There's a few downsides to this horn for sure, but there's definitely some niche uses where having slightly longer songs with a slightly lower potency could be great. This is especially great, again, for a fledgling bard or somebody who's just starting the job, or maybe joining the game for the first time. Picking up this weapon where you'll have immediate access to 3 songs at +3 potency and long duration is a fantastic gap filler, and it could be a great pick for a variety of reasons. I wish we had more time and resources to test everything today, but for now, we'll have to leave it at that. If there's a weapon that you tested and you want to share your experience with, drop it down in the comments. It's great to see the opportunity for a lot more testing and showcasing of these weapons that were previously extremely rare. We'll obviously see a huge influx of Bonanza weapons into the player base. And again, I want to reiterate that these weapons are available to everyone. So if you're new, a returning, or a longtime player, be sure to log into Final Fantasy XI during the free login anniversary campaign and get your voucher. You don't have to make a decision immediately. As long as you pick up the voucher, you'll be able to trade it at some point down the line. There's a ton of campaigns and bonuses and different things going on in Vana'diel right now in Final Fantasy XI. You can check out our monthly update video that we actually posted yesterday to get a good kind of summary of what's going on, but it's a great time to log in, and even better now that you get a free Bonanza weapon. I'm sure we'll be playing around and discussing these on stream over at twitch.tv/Hegmo, so feel free to hop into the chat and let us know what you're thinking and what weapon you're testing out live. Until next time, bye.